Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Ramblings from Two Meddling Kids. I'm Edward Hunt, joined by my fellow misfit,
Mike Cunningham.
and we are the Meddling Kids. And today we're going to be reviewing Rudolph. Classic Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? Yeah, classic Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. There's a billion iterations, but this is the claymation one, everybody. For those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. It's great to have you here. For those of you coming back, extra toys from Santa for you. We'll never spoil anything in the first, let's call it 10, 15 minutes of the movie. Though, honestly, if you haven't seen the claymation Rudolph yet, you really should. I think it's kind of goes without saying. But we won't spoil anything about it yet. Then we'll give you some background on it and then our play-by-play of what we found. Though, before we actually get started, it is almost Christmas. Mike and I are repping some pretty awesome Christmas sweaters. I got some Star Wars going. Mike, what's your sweater? What you got?
This is Game of Thrones. I drink and I know things.
Love it. And I find your lack of holiday cheer disturbing. But Merry almost Christmas, everybody. And for whatever holiday you celebrate, I hope you've had an amazing December so far. Let's get into it. Mike, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, 0 to 5. What'd you think?
This is a 4.5, 5 for me.
Wow.
I realize that this is for Christmas movies.
Mm-hmm.
This is my Fifth Element, and it was just like,
Got you.
I don't care how you feel about the claymation and how it's aged or the story or anything like that. I don't know. This movie was just like, I've always loved it. This is like, and obviously for the past few weeks, I've been having conversations about like your top, how it's not Halloween, Christmas films, and like this is, if we're talking about like animated or something like that, this movie is my go-to. There are a few others obviously, but like this one is definitely my go-to. So like it brings me back to my childhood. I love the story. It's like fairly simple, but like it's kind of a timeless story. I mean, I don't know if I got the messaging right. I think if I got the messaging right, it's if somebody doesn't like who you are, run away from your problems, and then only come back when you can manipulate manipulate the people that hated you. And once again, I don't know if that's the right message. I was 6 when I saw this, so like who knows?
Yeah.
Uh, but
It's
that's
or
the
your
message.
value is based on what you can do. If you can't
Yes,
do anything good, you're not worth anything for
there
sure.
we go. Bingo. But jokes aside, yeah, this is definitely something that like I haven't. My love of Christmas hasn't been the same in my adulthood as it was in my childhood, but like watching this one again brought me back to those times.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I said, I think this is a 4.5, 5 for me. Like just a flawless Christmas film that just brings me back. So yeah,
Yes.
that's how I feel about this. So,
Perfect. So Mike found the joy and wonder of being a child again from this movie, everybody. That's a pretty high praise. I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give it like 3.5, 4 for me. I don't have quite the same admiration and love for the movie. It's a classic Christmas movie. I've watched it a billion times, though I haven't watched it and really watched it in a while. Like I've had it on in the background, but like watching it through the lens of this podcast, I was like, oh, interesting. I think from a claymation perspective, claymation's great. It's always going to be claymation. It's never going to look quite as cohesive, I suppose, but I mean, it's rock solid claymation even now. The story's good. It's simple. I will say Santa Claus is a bit of a dick, and I'll go into that a little bit later, but he is not the
no,
nicest.
I give it to Mrs. Claus. Just body shaming this man all year round.
It's fair. There's some body shaming going on. There's all kinds of things. But yeah, so I would say, but I mean, as a whole, it's a quick, easy romp. I realized I couldn't even really find it for free, so I bought it because when I have children, my children will watch this at some point in time, I'm sure. It's a classic Christmas movie. You should watch it. From as movies go, 3.5, maybe 4. We'll see how we kind of go along through the day. But yeah, but again, so Mike gives it 4.5, 5. He loves this movie. It's a solid Christmas movie. I give it a 3.5 to 4. See the movie in general. If you have nothing else going on with your family this Christmas and you need something to watch, this is never a bad choice. So yeah, let's get into some background of this movie now. It was made like in the 1500s, I think, and then
Basically. Yeah, so the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was released in December 6th, 1964. The
64.
runtime is about, I guess I want to say 51 minutes. It wasn't that long. I thought it
No,
was
it's
more 47, but whatever, because it's a TV special, so I had to fit in between time slots.
not.
Um, painstakingly, I finally found the budget. It was like apparently like 4.5 million.
For
Um,
64 too. Yeah,
yeah,
animation's expensive.
I couldn't find a box office because this is a TV special, so I don't think there is one. I think I found numbers for like uh home video releases, but I don't think that really adds to the value of the film. The Rotten Tomatoes, you have a critic score at a 95 and an audience score at 84. The genre is animation, film. Animation, family, and kids. Um, it was directed by Larry Roemer or something like that. But
Mm.
he also directed The Return of Oz, I guess another animated film that came out the same year. But doing some background research, so like the production of this film was very interesting because the stop motion animation was created by this production company from Japan,
Hmm.
and then like the voice acting was done in Canada, and then like the music was done in England. So like it was like very much this Frankenstein's monster of a production to create this. So maybe that's where the a lot of the budget went to, is the fact that it was just
Mhm.
like all over the place.
Yeah.
And so like I said, the director is credited as Larry Roemer, but uh, the the I guess the guys who were behind the actual production basically said that he was just like kind of an exec that had an in at NBC, and he was the one that actually got the TV special made, and like,
Okay.
but he was like he didn't have any actual hand in the creations, but they just gave him the director credit, but they gave the real directorial credit to Tad Mochi Naga, who was the
Okay.
who was the he was like a pioneer in that style of stop motion animation.
Hmm.
So like they give him the actual credit, like
Got you. Yeah.
behind the scenes.
Well, it's the 60s. They want to give the credit to an American. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
As different
because
times.
they're like, all right, Larry, you got it on TV,
Yeah,
fine, we'll
exactly.
give
Like,
it.
fine, you have this. Yeah.
But yeah, so the cast is like Bert Ives as I think Sam the Snowman, Larry D. Mann as Yukon Cornelius, Billy May Richards as Rudolph, and that one's interesting. So like Billy May Richards for the longest time was credited as Billy Richards,
Hmm.
because it's actually a woman, but they didn't want people knowing that a woman had voiced Rudolph. Um,
Okay.
so they changed the name for a very long time on in the
Yeah.
credits until like recently.
Yeah.
Um, Paul Souls as Hermie, Alfie Scoop as Charlie, and Stan Francis as Santa. So, and then the tagline is the most famous reindeer of all time, and it's a story based on the song by Johnny Marks.
Interesting. So, yeah, so the song was there first, and then
Yeah.
they made the movie. How does that work exactly from
So that's
like,
why they had
yeah.
they didn't have, I think, the actual rights to the song. So that's where the different characters like Hermie came from, and Yukon
Hmm.
Cornelius,
Yeah.
right? Because the song is straightforward. It was just like he was born with a red nose. They
Yep.
said go fuck off, and then it was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. We need you. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like that was the song. It was like that's a movie you don't, but they didn't have the full, I guess, the full rights to the song. So they added these other ancillary characters to kind of fill out the story.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. This was
Interesting.
an interesting one, like to like kind of read up on.
Yeah. Because now do you know? I mean, it's totally fine if you don't, but like, when did Rudolph as like a concept or idea get created? I guess
Oh, this was
around
in the
the time before the song?
1930s, I believe, or hard. I think the song is based in like the 20s, I
Uh-huh.
believe, or something like it's. So yeah, it was way before. This one wasn't the first Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer like animated thing. There was like one in like the 1940s or something like
Mhm.
that. I think this
Yeah.
is just the most popular one.
Got you. Got you. That makes sense. Okay. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you, Mike. Before we get into our play-by-play, so we're about to enter that spoiler section, which again, it's Rudolph. I can't believe you haven't seen this yet. But before we get into our spoiler section, quick word from our sponsors. Hey, what's going on? I'm Edward Hunt. I'm a member of the Just Be team with Compass. I'm a real estate agent in the DMV. That's DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So if you would like any advice on the markets to see what's going on, interest rates are starting to fall. If you would like any phenomenal handyman or contractors, if you have some home projects coming up, or if you would like some connections with some lenders, I can do all of that for you. Or I can connect you with the right people. Furthermore, Compass is a nationwide brokerage, so no matter where you are in America, I can connect you with professionals out there who can support you in any of your home needs. From there as well, Edward Hunt of Hunt Comics. I have Evil as a Weapon issue 1. It's up on Global Comics to read for free. It's up on Amazon Kindle. You can check it out and download it, which just helps out me and production. It's $4.99, and it's also up for physical copies. You can see them in those boxes behind me on Amazon as well for $7.99 plus shipping. So check it out. There's a lot of ways to check out Evil as a Weapon. I'd love to know what y'all think. Anyway, let's get started. So it's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So it normally takes place in sunny Palm Beach, Florida, I think. And how does it start? What's
Greendale.
going on?
Yeah, so we open up on like kind of this newsreel talking about the storm of the century. And then we get introduced to Sam, the snowman, who also mentions the snowstorm that almost like canceled Christmas.
Hmm.
I think he goes into song like jingle, like one of the jingle songs or something like that. Excuse me.
Hey, we're both a
And
little
then
sick. I like
yeah,
it.
yeah, it's rough over here.
Yeah.
Um, and then we briefly meet Mr. Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus, and this is what I was talking about, like where he's sitting at the table, just reading the newspaper about the storm, and she's like trying to feed him because he's lost weight or
Yeah.
whatever. He's like, "Woman, if you don't get off my damn back."
Hey, the kids want a fat Santa. All
Yeah,
right. So Santa Claus needs to
she
close his mouth
said
or open his mouth and eat. All right.
the whole movie she's just like got a spoon and a bowl.
Yeah. She's just eat your food, eat it. Yes.
So then he talks about Sam goes back once again talking about the storm and how Rudolph basically saved Christmas.
Hmm.
So then we jump to Donner, one of Santa's reindeer, and his son is born or whatever, Rudolph, and like immediately he just sees that like Rudolph is born with this like bright red nose, and it
Yeah.
like beams when he's excited, and it makes like this honking sound. And Donner's like, "What the fuck is?"
No one is happy about this nose. All right. They see that and they're like, this kid's a freak. Get him the fuck out of here. I'm surprised
But
it
he,
didn't even
yeah,
grow up.
Donner goes like, he'll never make the sleigh team. I'm like, God, it's I just fell out. Like,
No, no, no. It's all that matters. All right. My boy is going to be on the sleigh team for Santa. All right.
and then yeah, like Santa comes over like to I guess meet the new fawns or whatever, and he's like, even Santa's like, holy shit, what the fuck is that?
Santa immediately, not the jolly, merry jolly Santa.
Mhm.
No, 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 no. He's like, fuck this kid. Get him out of here. He's like, why did you have this thing?
And so we get in when after Santa leaves, like Donna's like, oh don't worry, Santa, like he'll kind of grow out of it type of thing.
Okay.
And then so they commit to just hiding the red nose. Um, and then like shortly after he's teaching him how to be a reindeer. And then we get that first introduction to the abominable snowman,
Hmm.
which this is what once again though Sam, but I love about like this movie is like I haven't seen it in years, right? But it was just like immediately like all these characters seem just iconic, right? Like so
Hmm.
obviously Rudolph and Santa, we meet Hermes shortly, we'll talk about him. But like seeing the abominable snowman, I remember seeing this movie at like 6 and being terrified to go out into winter, bro. Like even
Yeah.
no matter how silly, like I look at him now, it's like the design of the puppet is very silly, very
Hmm.
chaotic. But it still brought back like like a certain level of fear. I'm just like, you a grown ass man. What do you?
Yeah, man. It's like, because it's the puppets are so, even the voices are the sound audio for the
Mhm.
abominable snowman. You hear that and it like triggers like in the back of your brain, like, I know
Yeah.
this, like it's, yeah, 100. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so like yeah, he teaches Donner teaches Rudolph how to be a reindeer, and then he also teaches him to just be aware or beware of the abominable snowmen like that lurk in the snow. And then then we meet like Hermie, and he's one of Santa's elves, but like he's another, and he brings up the word like misfit, but like he doesn't want to make toys for Santa. He wants to be a dentist because he's like, and it was like as he's sitting at the table, like he's supposed to be painting this wagon or something like that, but he's like sneaking reading this giant book of dentistry. Uh,
See, that's just smart business, all right? Hermes knows there's a niche. There aren't any dentists up there. He's going to make bank from this. That man's a genius, all right?
I don't know what dentistry school he's going. Like, I mean, you
Yes.
can read all the books you want, sir. I'm not going to a dentist that just felt it, you
He's
know.
got plenty of toys to practice on. He'll be fine, all right? You don't trust that?
But yeah, so he brings up Hermes, sorry, brings up this idea of being a misfit, right? Like he's already like an outcast within the elf world because, and I was like, this is what I was talking about, like the timeless stories that they're telling. It was just like kind of being in a group but not fitting in that group, right?
Mhm.
And that's what Hermie is. That's what Rudolph is. Even though we'll find that out short. I mean, we got that from the reaction from his parents and Santa, but no, sorry, his dad and Santa is
Mhm. Yeah,
his
his mom's like, yeah, I just love him. That's my kid. Thanks, mom.
But yeah, so after we meet Hermie, we meet Rudolph meets the other fawns. He's a little bit older now, and all the other fawns from the reindeer like meet to to get prepared, to for the I guess the reindeer games um to be, the next on Santa's sleigh team or whatever. So he meets what was that? It was like fire something.
Yeah, the
I
little
can't
dickhead.
Rocket. No, it
Yeah,
wasn't. Maybe it was Rocket or Fires. I don't want to
I
say
think it
Fire
was
Starter because that's definitely not it. But
Fireball, Fire.
Fireball. That's what it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fireball. Yeah.
Yeah, but he just meets another one of the other fawns or whatever, and like I
And
loved it because
Fireball, I was gonna say
say it again.
Fireball has his his priorities in order. He's like, hey, let's go do this so we can impress the does.
Yeah, but yeah. So as you see before they leave the house, they kind of put a little cap on
Mhm.
Rudolph's nose. I think they were using like coal or something like that to color it over, but like that wasn't working. So they have this little cap,
Yeah,
which ironically makes Rudolph stuffy and uncomfortable.
just like
Uh, yeah, just like but like Donna's like it doesn't like I don't who cares about a little discomfort like it's
Mhm.
necessary.
No son of mine has a red nose. Get out there,
Yeah,
man. You know?
and so Fireball is the first fawn that he meets, and he's like very friendly, and is
Mhm.
like let's go over and like to practice to like show off for Santa because
Mhm.
Santa's like going to be there like to meet the fawns or whatever.
Yeah.
And so like they go off, and like you said, he immediately says, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. You see them girls over there?
Yeah.
I think one of them like
Immediately.
you, dog." And so at the same time, like the fawns are like playing and like getting ready to be tested. We get a performance from the elves, like the elves are performing for Santa, and
Mhm.
he's like, I guess unimpressed. I don't.
Yeah. Santa's not having it. He's just like, why are they doing
He's
this?
like,
I
I got
hate
a
this.
long fucking day.
Santa's like,
My
why am
wife
I
keeps
unpaid?
shaving my body for some reason.
Yeah, Mrs. Claus trying to get him to eat. Santa's just like, why are my unpaid workers around me right now? Get them away from me. No, no, no. I don't
You
need
taught
this.
them to sing? Oh
It's
God,
like,
no
oh
breaks.
god, why aren't you putting them away till next Christmas? I don't understand. Yeah, Santa's not having it at all.
Um, but yeah, so as Santa leaves, because like Hermie once again gets chastised and called out for not being a
Hmm.
quote unquote good elf,
Yeah,
and
because he's
so
doing a
Santa
little
leaves
song and
the
dance for Santa.
yeah Santa leaves the elves to go to meet the fawns or whatever, and like this is where we see them their coach showing them how to fly. Like in Arliss is you run for a bit and then you jump to kind of catch the wind. One guy tries and like fails and everybody kind of laughs at him, but it's also like it's still like a good job. It's the first try, and like so, Fireball tells what's his name, Rudolph, like, "Oh, we're gonna be here for a while, so go talk to that girl." I'm like, God, all right, respect.
Kid's got a
And
one
so
track mind.
yeah, so he goes and talks to her or whatever, and she says, she mentions something about his nose because of the cap that's on it. But she was
It's because
like,
he sounds stuffy. I think it's
yeah,
because he has. Yeah.
and like so she goes that she likes him or whatever, and like this makes him so elated or whatever. So like the coach calls him over to try, to fly, and like because he's so excited about this girl liking him that he actually has does a fairly good leap and
Hmm.
actually flies for a bit. And so like through that excitement, you hear the nose like, excuse me, beaming. You can't see
Hmm.
it obviously because of the cap, but you hear it beaming, and then all of a sudden the cap pops off, and like Fireball sees it, and it was like this was cool about the stop motion animation to show like bewilderment or something like that. Like the eyes just start rolling in the back of their head anytime
Yeah,
they see
yeah.
anytime.
Wah!
So like Fireball sees it, he's like, "Yo, what the fuck?" And then like,
Yeah,
and then the coach sees it, and it was like everybody has that reaction to like, "Holy shit, what the fuck is going on with your nose?"
yeah.
And then like you said, even Santa again goes, "Yo, he had a decent jump, but like, what the fuck is up with the nose?"
I'm like, come on, guys, it's just a nose.
And
uh,
like, so his dad is like embarrassed, like he's embarrassed, and like, so he kind of just runs away.
hmm.
And then shortly after, he meets Hermie, who was like hiding off because of the fact that he had also been shamed for not being a good elf. So like, and then they call themselves, they realize that they're misfits, and they were
Hmm.
just like maybe like they wanted to be alone, they wanted to be isolated or something like that. But it was
Yeah.
like maybe we could be isolated together. And so like they run off, and they're wandering off in the storm. You see the storm picking up, and they're being kind of chased by the abominable snowman. And like Hermie realizes it was like, oh, it's your nose. Maybe we could try to like hide it because like
Rudolph damn knows, man. Even Hermes is like fucking misfit. Get out of here. You're gonna get us killed.
and so like as they're running away, they kind of like they hear somebody else coming, so they kind of hide in like the snow. But it's not the snowman, it's Yukon Cornelius, who
Yeah.
is like an explorer. You're going?
Yeah. I forgot how much I loved Yukon Cornelius, though. I
Yeah.
will say, like, like I don't really think of Yukon Cornelius on a regular basis. I don't know why, but then seeing him in this movie, I was like, oh my god, that's right, it's Yukon fucking Cornelius. Yeah,
I noticed like, and this happens throughout the movie. I guess I never noticed it as a kid, but I didn't realize he was like searching for his like for wealth, or like his
yeah.
like he was like basically like not a coal miner, I guess, but he was like exploring, hoping to find like some fountain of wealth
I think
up
gold,
in
right? I mean, yeah, he's
yeah,
a
or
local
something.
prospector.
And
Yeah.
so like yeah, so he's like every now and again he's like throwing his axe to the ground and then like licking it, and I was like, the
Mhm.
fuck is going on? What is up with this animation? Is this gonna be a thing? I didn't realize that as a kid. I'm watching watching it as an adult.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like he talks to them for a bit, like tell his whole spiel about trying to exploring. And you see he's horrible at like getting his sleigh team to run. Like
Yeah.
so like at one point it was funny as hell. I didn't notice it like until now, but like he tells his dogs to run, they don't run because they're trying to get away from the snowman. And
Hmm.
so like he has Hermie and Rudolph get on his sleigh or whatever, and then he tells his dog team to mush, and they don't. And then he was like, "Mush like this," and he grabs it and runs instead. And all the dogs hop on this.
Yeah. Uh,
And so
classic.
like yeah, luckily with Yukon Cornelius's help, they're able to escape the snowman because he just chips off some of the ice, and they kind of just float into this river and that foils the snowman because of the fact that he can't swim.
Hmm.
And so like they just float off into the abyss. And even Rudolph was like, where the fuck we going? And
Totally. All right.
Yukon Cornelius is like, I don't know, safety, stupid bitch. Like I was like, I don't no. I get that. I got that. But
Yeah,
like
but
where though?
yeah, people die at sea all the time. Just throwing that out there, man. Like, come on.
And so like as they're drifting off, to see escaping the abominable snowman, we see that Donner, I guess, kind of feeling bad and guilty about casting his son away, decides to set out and go find him. Excuse me. And so like I think he goes with his wife and the little girl that liked Rudolph.
Yeah, I will say from all this, like, why is the little girl going on these trips too? You know, like I get the parents, that makes sense. But then all of a sudden, like, I'm a new little girl. Yes, I'm gonna look for Rudolph too. I'm like, you should be at home. Like, you're not safe here.
It's like, we don't even know you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, cool, thank you, I guess. Yeah.
All right, so shortly after, Rudolph, Yukon, Cornelius, and Hermie land on and like make hit land or whatever, and they're immediately greeted by like a Jack in the Box.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, not a Jack in the Box. It's
yeah, I know, but yeah, so like I think it's a Jack in the Box, and he
yeah.
tells them that they're on the island of misfit toys, and he's
Hmm.
not a Jack in the Box, he's a Charlie in the Box,
Yeah. Hey,
and then
you
like
know.
and then so like we meet all the other misfit toys who were kind of cast away because they weren't the same as all the
Mhm.
other toys from their owners kind of just threw them away, and they just came to this place, um and so yeah, after that they're like, uh Rudolph is like, oh man, we're misfits too, so like maybe we could stay. And so
Yeah.
like they tell them to go talk to the king to get permission.
Yeah.
And so they go talk to the king, and the king is immediately like, bro, y'all not toys. I'm not this ain't no shelter, bitch. Like,
It's like they just can't go anywhere. Nope. It's like no matter where they go. Like, yeah, you're a misfit.
we're too misfits to be the misfits on the
Exactly.
misfit code. Like, he
You're not
immediately was like, excuse, do you not see all these fucking manufactured toys I got here?
yeah. It's like you're not misfit enough. You're not misfitty enough for our misfit club. All right, so get out of here.
I'm like, once again, since I haven't seen this as a kid, I forgot how like, bro, he didn't even like play it out. Like, at least like the
Nope.
Wizard of Oz like played games with them.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like, he was
dude.
like, y'all want y'all wishes? All right, go kill this bitch for me, and
Yeah.
then we'll talk. Like,
Yeah.
god
Nope.
damn. He was immediately like, no, I don't.
No.
You think I got space?
Yeah. He's like, are you fucking stupid? Get the fuck out of here, man.
Adam, go get.
Uh,
He hit him with the Harry and the Hendersons. We don't want you anymore. Get out of here. Yeah, he's basically like, yeah, you're not toys, so like you can't be here. But what you can do is when you do get back to Christmas Town, I believe that's where they were from. He was
Mhm.
like, tell Santa about these toys so that hopefully he can find them little boys and girls to play with, right?
Yeah. So the
Uh,
lion with the crown and wings was like, no, no, you can't stay here. Fuck you. Get out. I don't even want you here. I don't like your kind. And then, but do me a solid when you get to Christmas Town, help out my people. Like, okay, thanks, lion. I'll keep that in mind.
and so
Fuck.
like that night, like Yukon, Cornelius, Hermie, and Rudolph, they're preparing to go to bed. They're like, all right, so the next tomorrow, because he was like, he granted them the night they could stay the night, right?
How
And
magnanimous.
then they got to get the fuck up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the three of them are talking, and they're like, all right, so tomorrow we'll go back. And like Rudolph is like, well, what about the snowman?
Hmm.
Like, 'cause wherever I go, if we go back to, Christmas time, he's gonna be looking for me. Like, what do we do? And Hermia is like, yeah, 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 yeah. I hear you, but fuck that. So what we're gonna do?
We'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
And so like when they go off to sleep, Rudolph is like, I don't want to put my friends in danger, so I'm gonna go off on my own. And so like he, takes another iceberg back to to Christmas Town or whatever.
Hmm.
And he's like, just for the next few months, it seems like he's just constantly pursued by the snowman.
Yeah.
And like, so he meets new friends, and usually it's like, I think that's what was interesting. It was just like he'll meet like children or something like that, and
Hmm.
they'll be cool with him, and then their parents. And I think we saw this with the little girl, the doe, sorry, that kind of caught his eye. Like
Yeah.
after he was made fun of by like the coach, and like his even his dad cast him out. Like, he ran away, and the little, I can't remember her name.
Yeah. I don't
Was it
remember.
Clarice or something like that? Maybe.
I don't remember, honestly. I have no
Yeah.
idea. I'm blanking. Yeah.
But like she came after him, and he was like, "What are you gonna make fun of me too?" And she was like, "No, I think I like your nose or whatever." Like
Yeah.
she, and it was like a very sweet moment. Where, after out of all the people that were like making fun of him, like she didn't. But then her dad came over. It was basically like, no daughter of mine.
Like, get on out of here.
And so like, and after Rudolph leaves his friends and he's just like traveling, being chased around by the snowman, he keeps meeting people that are like very nice to him, and then like someone from that tribe or whatever will ultimately just come over and be like, no, we can't associate with no red-nosed reindeer
Yeah,
type of thing.
no glow noses here. All right, we can't
Yeah.
get your glow nose on out of here. Yeah,
And so eventually he makes his way back to his home, and like now he's a bit older, his antlers have grown in a bit,
yeah.
and like he
He
meets up
realized he can't run away from his problems forever or
yeah.
whatever.
Mhm. And so he meets back up with the same fawns from earlier, who have also, who've also grown up, and they're like still making fun of him, but I don't think it hits him the same.
Yeah,
And then like he goes home and realizes that his house is empty, and that like his mom and his dad had gone searching for him like months ago. And then we jump to them being attacked by the snowman. So it's like his mom, his dad, and then the little girl. I'm gonna call her Clarice. Doesn't really
cool.
matter.
That works.
Like so Rudolph goes in there to try to save them, like because finally, like you said, not running away from his problems and to like
Well,
rescue his family.
remember, like, so he goes home and it's empty, and Santa's there, and he's like, "Yep, it's your fault because they fucking were searching for you." And I'm like, "Come on, Santa! Like, first off, I can't be here. Like, you are not
And then
Holly."
I think now we're all agreeing with Mrs. Claus. Eat a little something. Eat a Snickers, just something. Like
Right, you're
you're
angry.
not you when you're hungry.
Exactly. Yeah, Santa was a dick in this movie. Like, he literally did nothing but come at Rudolph, hate on the elves, and is like, if you can't be of use to me, I don't want you here. Like, yeah, Santa, not the holliest, jolliest guy. Just throwing that out there.
But yeah,
Oh,
so he he finds his parents and Clarice in the cave of the snowman, and he goes to try to protect them, but he gets knocked the fuck out.
quick. Yeah.
And then at the same time, Yukon, Cornelius, and Hermie are looking for him, and
Hmm.
they get word. They, I think they get word. No. I think they're looking for the snowman or whatever,
Yeah, I think they
and then
hear the snowman, and that's how
yeah,
they
they
know
hear
or
yeah,
something. Yeah,
and so like they go to the cave, see that Rudolph is knocked out, so like they create a distraction for the snowman to come out, and then they just basically knock him out using this huge boulder
yeah,
on top of on top of the cave, and then like they're able to like go back to oh no, actually what happens as they escape the cave, the snowman wakes up, and then like there's this like big fight
yeah.
or
Well, remember,
whatever, and then
Hermes condemns the snowman to death by literally pulling all of his teeth
all his
out
teeth out,
while
yeah.
he's passed out. Like the most painful torture I think it could happen to anybody. Hermes does it because he's a monster. Then Yukon Cornelius is like, "Yo, this man don't got teeth. All right, it's on." He just like runs into him, and then they fall off the cliff.
Yeah,
And they're like,
and then
"Well,
like
Yukon's dead."
they look over the cliff and they're gone. I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit! Like this movie
Dude,
got
and
dark.
then God, this is such a movie from the 60s because with this, so Yukon falls off the cliff, and it takes a time from the narrator to be like, "Yep," and everyone was very sad about Yukon Cornelius, but Rudolph and all the men realized the right thing to do now was to get the women to Christmastown. So then they go. It's literally, I don't know if they've changed it in other versions, but the one I bought on Amazon was like, "Yep, they needed to get the women to Christmastown, so they got the fuck out of there." Like, the 60s. What a different time.
Yeah, so they go back to Christmas Town, and like everybody's excited to see all of them, including Rudolph and Hermie. And then Santa says that he says maybe misfits have a place, right? Even like the head elf was like, if you want to be a dentist, like you can go to dentistry school. That's cool or whatever. So like
Yeah,
they're basically they've come to the side of like realizing that maybe they did treat Rudolph poorly,
yeah.
um, and that and that was wrong or whatever. And then
They're
we
like, "Oh,
get
you killed the abominable snowman. Cool. All right, we guess we can hang with you now. Thank you."
and then shortly after we get them opening the door or whatever, and Cornelius walks in with the the now subdued
Yeah,
abominable snowman, and it was like, wait, he can be helpful too, and he like puts the star on the tree or
yeah.
whatever, and And that's when Rudolph tells Santa about the island of misfits toys, and like the promise that he made to like trying to help them find homes for
Hmm.
Christmas. And then Santa's like initially he's like because of the snowstorm, getting back to this damn snowstorm,
Yeah.
because of the snowstorm, Christmas is going to have to be canceled because I can't see anything. And then
Hmm.
he sees Rudolph's nose, and this is where you get the line from the song. It was like, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't
Yeah.
you guide my sleigh tonight, or whatever.
Then how the
And what,
reindeers loved him and the shed
yeah,
that
once again,
wistfully.
it's like run from your problems
Yeah,
until.
exactly.
But yeah, so now Rudolph is gonna be the lead reindeer to help
Mhm.
guide Santa through the snowstorm. But before they head off to to save Christmas, they travel to the land of the island of misfits toys. And this
Mhm.
is what it was like. They jumped back, and it was just like all the toys are like, well, it's almost Christmas and we're still here, I guess he forgot about us.
Yeah.
And it was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they're like, "But Rudolph promised." I'm like, "No, no, no. He's a bad man. Rudolph with
So
Rudolph is the
that's
worst."
a talking about the production and like trivia, like that's a reshoot actually. So like if that
Mm.
wasn't in the original broadcast. They went back and changed that because they wanted a happy ending for the Misfit toys.
Yeah, because all the children are crying because they're like, "Rudolph promised." Literally, like, the children are the little doll who's crying
Yeah.
because they promised that. Yeah.
And so
Oh.
like they go, yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, okay, what was that?
I don't know, it was
Was that a
some
ghost?
animation on your side, I assume.
No, it's the hell was now my
And
closet's
so
open too? Ah, fuck. It's Christmas, Ghost, come on now.
yeah, they travel like Santa travels to the island of Misfit Toys to pick up the Misfit Toys, and then like you just like the Sam the
Mhm.
snowman sings the classic Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer song, and
Yep.
as he's singing it, you get the ending credits and like Santa flying over the homes of the children, like dropping off the toys and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
And how they're dropping off the toys, it's a very funny, cute scene, but, like, there's the elf, and he hands each toy an umbrella, and the toys just
Hmm.
float down to the house they're going to. Very funny, very cute. Yeah.
But yeah, and that's the end of the movie. It's
Yeah.
quick.
Oh, and, I guess one last little detail, Yukon Cornelius throws this thing up and finds peppermint,
Oh
like
yeah,
a
yeah, he finds
peppermint mine.
peppermint, and
Yeah.
that's what talking about. He kept like throwing up his pickaxe and then licking it.
Yeah. He was looking for a peppermint mine the whole time because he wanted that money. But yeah, that is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. We know, especially for this more holiday Christmassy special, it's a little shorter, but we always like to review our original, or go back to our original rankings. Mike, you gave it a 4.5, 5. Are you sticking with it?
I'm just gonna go with a straight 4.5.
All right.
It's one of my favorites for Christmas.
Love it.
Like I said, I know it has its flaws, especially 50 years later. But who gives a shit? Like
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
it's still like I said, I haven't felt this way about Christmas in a while. Like so, watching this one was it brought me back. So
Nice.
I
Hell
love
yeah.
the like. I think this is why I love animation the way I do. Like I'm always
Mhm.
looking for, especially not especially stop motion, but like if I can find stop motion in modern times, I'm kind of running towards it. And I think
Yeah.
these movies are the reason why. Like so, yeah, oh yeah, definitely 4.5 for me. Yeah, I love this
Sweet.
movie.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna give it. I'll raise to a 4 because, and part of the reason I'm raising to a 4 is because of the Christmas nostalgia. I mean, it's a TV special movie made in the '60s. It's not going to be as like movie, I suppose, as some out there. But no, it's a very solid Christmas story. Santa just needs to get over himself a little bit, but it's he was just hungry, all right, and that's really Mrs. Claus is trying to help. So I'm going to give it a 4 as well. But thank you so much for listening, everybody. And we hope whatever you celebrate, you're having a holly jolly, merry, amazing one. So, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, yeah, etc. Sorry for not potentially. We might cut this. Anyway, merry everything to you all. And thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to reach out to us, we are the Two Meddling Kids. So if that is at Two Meddling Kids on Twitter and Instagram, or you can email us at twomeddlingkids@gmail.com. Mike, how can they reach out to you?
On Instagram at Days from Legendary.
Love it. And if you'd like to reach out to me, I'm at EdHunt77 on Twitter and Instagram, and hunt.comics on Instagram as well. See you next week with a brand new movie, y'all. Catch it.
Bye.